The Roman army's Mediterranean campaigns refer to a series of military expeditions conducted by Rome, which ultimately led to its domination over the Mediterranean region, often termed Mare Nostrum, or Our Sea. This expansive endeavor unfolded over several centuries, characterized by a relentless pursuit of territorial expansion, control of critical trade routes, and the strategic elimination of rivals. The significance of this point lies in its pivotal role in transforming Rome from a local power into a preeminent empire, setting the stage for profound cultural, political, and economic influences that continue to resonate today. The Roman conquest of the Mediterranean was marked by key victories such as the Punic Wars against Carthage, which saw Rome emerge as the undisputed power in the Western Mediterranean. The defeat of Hannibal at the Battle of Zama in 202 BC, for instance, underscored Roman military ingenuity and resilience. Another notable campaign was Rome's annexation of Greece following the decisive Battle of Corinth in 146 BC, which not only expanded its territorial reach, but also integrated Greek culture into Roman society, influencing art, literature, and philosophy. Supporters of Rome's military strategy often highlight its disciplined legions, advanced engineering, and tactical innovation as factors that turned the Mediterranean into a Roman lake. They argue that these campaigns facilitated a relatively stable and unified region under Roman law and order, fostering the exchange of ideas, goods, and technology across diverse cultures. However, these campaigns were not without challenges and controversies. Critics point to the Roman army's sometimes brutal tactics, including widespread enslavement and the destruction of entire cities, as morally questionable. Furthermore, the rapid expansion placed strains on Rome's administrative capabilities and contributed to internal political tensions, which some argue sowed the seeds of political corruption and social unrest. Understanding the Roman army's campaigns in the Mediterranean sheds light on the broader narrative of imperial expansion and its consequences. These military endeavors were instrumental in shaping Roman imperial policy, economic structures, and cultural integration efforts, influencing various aspects of the empire's development. Moreover, by examining these campaigns, one gains insight into the intricate balance between military might and diplomatic strategy in the building of empires. Overall, the Roman conquest of the Mediterranean serves as both a testament to and a cautionary tale about the complexities of empire building, with repercussions that have echoed throughout history. The heading Rise of Rome, Foundation and Early Military Strategies delves into the foundational phase of Rome's emergence as a dominating force in the Mediterranean. This period refers to the establishment of Rome, traditionally dated to 753 BCE, and its evolution through the early Republic, marked by Rome's strategic military innovations and campaigns. The essence of these early strategies lay in Rome's adaptive and resilient approach to warfare, which enabled them to progressively outmaneuver neighboring entities and expand their influence across the Mediterranean basin. The significance of Rome's rise through these military strategies cannot be overstated when exploring the topic of the forgotten Roman army that conquered the Mediterranean. During this formative period, Rome established military doctrines that would underpin their future successes. Notably, the transition from a city-state militia to a more structured and disciplined military force was pivotal. Key developments included the introduction of a legionary system, which provided flexibility, and the strategic use of alliances through diplomacy, which allowed Rome to incorporate and mobilize larger forces. Two specific examples highlight the impact of these early military strategies. First, the conquest of Etruscan cities showcased Rome's ability to assimilate sophisticated societal structures and military tactics into their own culture. Second, the Latin War demonstrated Rome's strategic diplomacy and military innovation, eventually resulting in a network of alliances that solidified Roman dominance in central Italy. This period of Rome's rise is often supported by historians who emphasize the effectiveness of Roman military adaptability and statecraft in overcoming diverse and challenging adversaries. However, there are controversies and challenges associated with this point. Some scholars argue that Rome's military strategies were not as innovative as claimed, drawing instead on earlier Greek and Etruscan influences. Others contend that Rome's aggressive expansion and methods sowed seeds of dissent that would later contribute to internal strife. These early strategies inexorably influenced other aspects of Roman expansion. As Rome expanded, their military tactics evolved, incorporating new technologies such as naval advancements during the Punic Wars, which ultimately facilitated the projection of power across the Mediterranean. Additionally, the success in the earlier phases set a precedent and expectation of Roman military supremacy, driving further conquests that shaped the Roman Empire. In exploring the forgotten elements of Rome's military history, understanding these foundational strategies provides crucial context for how Rome initially carved out its place in an ancient world full of competing powers, laying groundwork that their successors would build upon in their quest for Mediterranean dominance. Key battles and conquests in the Mediterranean region refer to the pivotal military engagements and territorial acquisitions by a Roman army, often overshadowed in history, that played a crucial role in establishing Rome's dominance over the Mediterranean. These events are significant because they not only expanded Rome's territorial boundaries, but also solidified its influence over one of the world's most strategically and economically important regions. The ramifications of these conquests were felt throughout antiquity and shaped the cultural, political, and economic landscape of the region for centuries. One example of such a key battle is the Battle of Mylae in 260 BC during the First Punic War, where Rome's naval forces defeated Carthage, marking Rome's emergence as a formidable naval power. This victory was crucial in establishing Rome's ability to conduct warfare on the seas, which was instrumental in subsequent conquests around the Mediterranean. Another significant conquest was the capture of Corinth in 146 BC. This not only secured Roman control over the Greek peninsula, but also demonstrated Rome's unwillingness to leave any major regional power unchecked, thus signaling their capacity to enforce dominance through military might and strategic diplomacy. Opinions supporting the significance of these military achievements often highlight how these victories laid the groundwork for the Roman Empire's vast network of trade routes and cultural integration, effectively turning the Mediterranean into a Roman lake. However, these successes were not without challenges or controversies. Many historians point to the moral implications and the heavy human cost involved in Rome's expansionistic pursuits. Additionally, some argue that the relentless focus on military conquest contributed to the eventual vulnerability and decline of the Roman state due to overextension and internal strife. These key battles and conquests directly influenced other aspects of Rome's expansion, such as its administrative organization and economic exploitation of conquered territories. Furthermore, the legacy of Roman rule in the Mediterranean is evident in the region's enduring classical influences, which persist in legal systems, languages, and architectural styles. In summary, the key battles and conquests in the Mediterranean were crucial episodes in Roman history. They not only demonstrate the military prowess and strategic planning of a forgotten Roman army, but also underscore the complexities of empire building, balancing triumph and imperial overreach. These events remain a testament to Rome's historic influence, marking a period that reshaped the Mediterranean world. The structure and organization of the Roman military was the backbone of Rome's ability to conquer and control the Mediterranean region. At its core, The Roman military was a sophisticated and highly organized entity that involved a detailed hierarchy, strategic formations, and the integration of various unit types, such as the legions, auxilia, and naval forces. Each legion comprised roughly 4,500 to 6,000 soldiers and was divided into cohorts and centuries, enabling them to maneuver effectively in battle situations. The discipline and standardization of these units were key to maintaining order and executing commands efficiently, which contributed significantly to Roman military successes. The significance of this aspect cannot be overstated when discussing Rome's domination over the Mediterranean. The organization of the Roman army allowed for consistent and adaptable warfare strategies, ensuring that Rome could project its power across vast distances. Without such structure, the various campaigns that expanded Roman territory and influence would have likely failed, leaving Rome as a smaller regional power rather than a sprawling empire. To illustrate, consider Caesar's conquest of Gaul, where the Roman military's organization enabled efficient supply lines and coordinated multi-front campaigns. Another example is the Roman campaign against Carthage during the Punic Wars, where superior naval organization and integration with land forces led to decisive Roman victories and eventual dominance over the Mediterranean Sea. Supporters of this organizational prowess argue that it set the standard for military efficiency and discipline for centuries, influencing modern military structures. They see it as a cornerstone of Rome's ability to enforce Pax Romana, ensuring peace and stability across a vast territory for centuries. However, there are challenges and controversies associated with this concept. Some historians argue that this strict military hierarchy sometimes stifled creativity among commanders and soldiers, while logistical miscalculations led to costly military failures like the disastrous loss to Parthia in the Battle of Carrhae. Additionally, critics highlight the often brutal methods employed by the military to maintain order and obedience both within the army ranks and across conquered territories. In the broader context of the Roman Empire's rise in the Mediterranean, the structure and organization of the Roman military were instrumental. They facilitated Rome's expansionist policies and kept the empire's vast territories under control, directly influencing the political and cultural spread of Roman influence. Ultimately, understanding this military organization provides essential insights into how Rome achieved and maintained its status as a dominant Mediterranean power.